industry like, facilities management, it's difficult to measure quality because quality will be based on perception. It is what your customer or your client perceive. You are rated based on their perception. That's why we do what we call the survey, customer satisfaction survey. The truth about the service industry is that you can provide same service for two people and they will give you different opinion, of your performance. So it is very subjective, but there are certain things you need to know as a facilities manager that will identify or determine quality for you. So those are the things we are going to look at. So when you are in your operations, when you are seeing those things, you know if you are meeting the requirements, you are satisfying your customers. So quality in FM.
Please, we can't hear anything. I think his video stopped.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry about that. I hope internet is not going to give us this. It's not going to start with us like this today. Oh. All right. So we want to look at quality in FM. In today's course, we are going to try at the end of the day to determine or what are the determinants of FM service quality. We are going to look at the determinants of FM service quality. When we are doing our work, what are the things that we will do? What are the measures that we'll look at to determine our service quality? We are going to mention 2 quality improvement tools. Quality generally is all about continual improvement. And even in FM, you are expected that your performance improves as you are carrying out your operation. So we are going to look at tools that we can use in improving our quality of service. Then we are going to highlight 2 examples each of external and internal factors that can influence our delivery. There are internal factors that can influence our quality of service. There are external factors that are out of our control that can also influence our quality of service. Now we are going to define service specifications. What are the specifications in FM business that determines quality? What are you going to look at? And there we are going to look at KPI. As an FM, you know that every time you are signing a contract, you are supposed to highlight your KPIs. Is either your client will give you KPIs that you must achieve, or you come up with KPI to guide your operation. Then we are going to describe how benchmarking affects FM service quality. You know, as FM, there are organizations, there are groups that you can get best practice from and then implement in your operation. So those are what we are going to look at in this course. All right. Module 1 will be FM quality. We are going to define quality. We are going to look at the determinants and areas that affect our business. Then also we are going to look at FM quality objectives. What are the quality objectives of FM facility management? Then we are going to look at the quality matrix. These are measures you use in determining quality. And we are going to look at the FM quality indicators and also the quality statistical tools. Okay, FM quality. What is FM quality? I want us to, you know, interact here, as in, let's just contribute. What do you think quality means, you know, to a facility manager, to you, you know, managing a facility? Remember I said that quality in the FM industry is a service industry. It is subjective. It's not something that is easily measured. But one way we can measure it is by carrying out a survey to check the perception of your customer, to see how they feel about what you are doing. So FM quality, what is it to you? I want to get feedback from us.
Okay, sir. Adamu here.
Okay,
For
Adamu,
me,
well done.
yes, sir. For me, quality here is when there is downtime within your
Okay.
facility, your response is part of
Good.
quality. Your
Yes.
how you engage with your customers is part of quality.
Yeah.
The duration of the downtime is part of it. And then efficiency in your response is part of quality. Like
That's
you
right.
said, quality is very wide, especially in facility management. But these are some of the criteria that you can use. Cleanliness of your environment, your toilet is very clean every time, is part of
Yes.
quality. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's good. A good one from Adamu. Adeola, your hand is up. Take it away.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So when we talk about quality, I would say it's just the creation of satisfaction.
Yeah.
That is what they expected from us. We've done even beyond that.
Good. Exceeding expectation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Oluwa Shola, your hand is up. Take it away.
Okay. Good evening, sir. So
Yeah, good evening.
my own is that attention to details, because as a facility manager, you must have the quality of attention to details. So with that, you'll be able to spot any issue within the premises.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. In fact, with your responses now, it's just like it's as if I shouldn't even go through this slide. We have, you know, touched on those things that kind of determine quality in the FM space, right? Easy availability. If you are, you know, generating and distributing power in a facility, it is important to ensure that that power is available all the time. You know, anybody that comes to your facility or the users of your facility, they are sure that there is no, if there is power cuts, then there is a very serious problem. They know that in your facility, there is 24 hours power supply and there is no power cut at any point. Okay, you have user-friendly, you know, have a facility that is user-friendly. You know, people come into your facility, they use the assets there, they use and they can navigate their way, you know, around the facility. Things are well labeled and, you know, people can find their way around the facility. Aesthetic appeal. Aesthetic appeal is also quality in the facilities management space. Now, you go to I managed a facility some time ago, and I discovered that for the expatriates that were staying in that estate, you go to their, you know, their houses, you see that the grass are well trimmed and everything, because they are expatriates, they are white people. They know, they appreciate aesthetics, right? But when you go to the Nigerians that are living in the same estate, you see that their grasses are dried and dead, you know, and you just see the difference, right? We don't pay attention to aesthetic. We don't pay attention to how the environment looks like. For facilities management, for the fact that you are managing grounds, you are managing, you know, the grass, you are managing things around you, that aesthetic quality must be there. All right, nice features, proven reliability, your assets are reliable, you call on them, they respond immediately. Low cost, yes, as you are managing, you are also ensuring that you minimize cost in whatever you are doing. Then good after sales service. This is very important. When we finish providing our, you know, the technical service to the occupants, to the client, to the customer, it is very important that we go back and sometimes put a call through to the customer to ask, oh, what's your feedback about the job that was done? Was it completed? Did the technician finish the job? Were you okay? Was the site restored? You know, you ask questions like that. That way you give them confidence, you know, that you really know what you're doing. And whenever they have any problem at all, instead of them escalating to your boss or to your management or to the client, they call you directly because they know that, yes, you are able to empathize with them, you are able to meet their need. So that after service or after sales calls are very, very important. Manifest durability. Your facility, the facility that you are managing must be managed in such a way that you maximize or you take advantage or you optimize the useful life of that facility. Now you can see some building when you go to UK and, you know, the West, you see buildings that are like 100 years old, but the facility, the building, they are still functioning very well. But you come to Nigeria, you see buildings that are less than 10 years old. Before you know it, you are struggling with the plumbing fixtures, you are struggling with the electrical fixtures and all that. So quality for an FM is to ensure that whatever asset you are managing, you do what you optimize the useful life of that asset. Simple maintainability, very important. Whatever assets you are managing, then you must ensure that you can maintain it. The maintenance is simple. That's why we advise that as FM, when the construction team is handing over to the operations team to operate and maintain, there must be a proper handshake. In fact, FM should come in at every stage of the construction. So that at the end of the day, you don't just get the design drawing, you get the as-built drawing. That is the final drawing of that building. Because that's where all the modification and all the changes must have been captured. That way you are able to maintain it. I've seen a building that was built with many, you know, huge amount of money, dollars for that matter. But because they brought in the construction company from abroad and they brought them in to, you know, to construct the building, when they finished their work, they just left without proper handing over. Yes, they handed over the document, but they didn't hand over the critical spares. So it became a problem that every repair needed a modification, which means that when you want to carry out a simple repair of what's it called, the wash arm basin, for example, you need to remove the entire wash arm basin and then bring the Nigerian version of the wash arm basin. That way, of course, you are doing modification, it will deface the building, and the aesthetic too will be distorted. So things like that are very, very important. You manage a facility in such a way that you are handed over, a facility is handed over to you. That facility you should be able to maintain that facility. You have perceived value, you'll be able to look at this facility, and even with the use, you can say, okay, this is the value of this asset. Environmental friendly, prompt delivery, just like Adamu said, prompt delivery. If the SLA to close out power cuts is 30 minutes, you are expected to close out that SLA within 10 minutes, even less than that, even 5 minutes, because if 30 minutes is a very long time not to have power. Now you just look at that scenario and consider if somebody is trapped in the lift, then there's a huge problem. If that person is claustrophobic and cannot, stand being in a tight place. So you try as much as possible to deliver and exceed SLE. So that's prompt delivery. All right. Let's go on. All right, let's just look at the definition of quality. In general, quality is the process of confirming customer expectations, establishing performance standards and metrics based on those expectations. As an FM, number one, you confirm your customer expectation. If you are in an FM company, your expectation, like we said the other day, that it must be in alignment with the corporate objective. You must understand the objective of your clients and begin to work towards that, establish performance standard and metrics that are based on that objective, are based on that expectation, so that at the end of the day, you are able to measure the degree to which you meet that expectation. For example, SLA for your general service excellence is 95% for service excellence. Then for operational excellence, let's say 95% too. You are expected to meet that 95%. And if it's possible, you can even get up to 98%. And where it is possible, you get up to 90%. How do you do that? You establish, you confirm your customers' expectations, and then you generate standard and metrics based on that expectations, and then measure, at the end of the day, you measure the degree to which you meet those expectations. Quality standard can sometimes be referred to as measure against, or can be measured against other things of a similar kind. The degree of excellence of something, the quality of life. When you look at the FM quality, you see a lot of things. It's more of quality of life. You want to work in a clean environment. You want to work in a place where the indoor environment is of high quality. The air condition, the air quality is okay, not polluted. So those are the areas that, as an FM, you try to achieve. Now, general excellence of standard or level, perpetual, conditional, and somewhat subjective attributes, and may be understood differently by different people. We said this before. Different people understand, things different way. But if an environment is clean, squeaky clean, there is no way that somebody will come to that environment and tell you that you've not done anything. So those are areas we need to look at. Okay, definition of quality. We've talked about what quality looks like, in the FM world: visually clean and well-maintained buildings, a healthy balance sheet, work processes that are in alignment with strategic directions. You see, this is coming up again and again. Your work process should be in alignment with strategic direction so that there is no misalignment where your top management is going. That's where you two should be going. An empowered and committed workforce, committed to service excellence, effective FM monitoring and auditing tools, assessing operational performance. So in all, Adamu, is your hand up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to contribute to this, especially with regards to quality, clean, healthy, aesthetic buildings. You know, some of us are so limited in our exposure. And like you rightly said, quality or satisfaction may be different from different categories. When you go to an estate like, what do you call it, Jakande now?
Yeah.
The one, yeah. And then you go to an estate in Ikoyi. Somebody may have never visited maybe Banana Island estate.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I went to Jakande, wow, that place is very nice. And when you go, when he gets a job at Banana Island as an FM person, he'll be wondering, what is this again? So you have to be able to understand quality at a minimum standard, like you rightly said, the FM world, because some people will just like, no, everything is okay now. How clean did you clean the place? Say, no, they clean it. What type of standard was done? I just want to point this out, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. And that's why if you look, as we go on, we'll get to a point where we talk about benchmarking, you know. Now, I'll tell you what I told those in the Saturday's class. You know, when I was with SPDC Shell, we do facilities management work, and one day our GM just came in. You know, these are people that travels a lot. They can sleep in Nigeria today and wake up in London, and before you know, they find themselves in the US, The Hague, and just like that, because of the kind of, you know, because of their position and the work they do. You know, and the man just came back and was just telling us, look, you guys are not doing anything. But this is a facility that is not like some facility that I see in Lagos here, you know. Over there in Port Harcourt in Shell facility, money isn't the problem. It is just for you to do your inspection, come up with the snags. Even if you want to come up with 1 million snags, they have the money to fix the problem because they want their facility to be top notch. And this is what we've been doing. But here, the man came back and was just shouting and that, come on, you guys are not doing anything. You have your eyes in your pocket. Your eyes should be in your socket. Guys, you need to remove your eyes from your pocket and put in your socket while you are doing your inspection and all that. After much talking, now told us like, okay, look, you people should go to Total because Total was just, you know, close to us. Total residential area, even their industrial area, that we should go there and see what they are doing. You know, we mobilized ourselves and went there and see how they are doing their, you know, own facilities management. What was it trying to achieve? You can be in an environment and before you know, poor work, poor environment, defects have become normalized in your eyes. You won't see them. You can pass through that broken tiles. You won't see that it's a broken tile. You can see that broken socket, but because their response to facility, their response to work, their response to repairs, maybe the client doesn't approve and all that, they'll tell you, leave it, it's not important. You know? Before you know, you enter a hall and you see like there are 10 dead bulbs in that hall and you won't see them again. So benchmarking requires that you go out, you see what other people are doing, you bring the best practice, you know, to your own facility. Sometimes you can get your management team, you can get a friend, you can get a facility manager from this class and say, come and carry out an inspection at my site. You know, that person will be able to give you an objective, you know, observation in that site. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, you can be you can work in a facility whereby approval or release of funds, you know, is an issue. even if you pick your deferred maintenance list, you have huge and very long deferred maintenance list. And management will tell you, we don't have money to deal with that. We want to deal with the core business. So at that point, you need to calm down and find a way around it and manage your deferred maintenance in such a way that when fund comes, you deal with the most critical ones. So, but that does not remove the fact that your facility must be visually clean and well maintained, because at the end of the day, it will still be you. I remember when there was a lift crash in one of the hospitals in Lagos here, you know, and the first person that was hit on that, it was the facilities manager. That's the first person they first sacked. But they forgot that the facility manager is an individual that cannot use his money to fix those things. Somebody needed to approve fund. He must have been reporting it, and you know, because of the fact they said there's no fund, the guy will just leave it. But the very first person they had to punish was the facilities manager. So it is very important that we know these things, and no matter what, let us, you know, at least have a clear understanding of what FM quality, what are the determinants of FM quality, and make a report to management and look, these are the things that we need to put in place. Aesthetic is a problem in Nigeria generally. And somebody said that when you enter any country and, you know, when you look at the aesthetic and it's not good, maybe the street is bad, dirt everywhere, just know that that country is a poor country, is not a good country. And it is true. All right, what is quality objective to an FM? Quality objective to an FM is getting things right the first time. Getting things right the first time. Now, I will tell you that if you are in a kind of service contract where you provide service, you know, to clients, maybe repairs and everything, that's what we do. What clients don't want to hear is rework, repeat work. Because when you do rework, it means you are spending more money, you're wasting time, is hitting on the bottom line of that organization. So, as an FM, our quality objective is getting things right the first time. That clean environment, we must get it right and get it right consistently. All right. We promote quality service delivery and enhance efficiency. We use resources by doing things right the first time. Nobody wants to waste resources. And for you to do things right the first time, you must pay attention to details. I like it when, I think it was Adamu that said, paying attention to details. Yes, it's very, very important. You know, sometimes we get a fault call, a fault request. And before you know it, you just raise a work order and you give it to the technician. Sometimes you don't even go to site. You send the technician, go and scope the job. He goes there, write whatever he likes, brings it back to you, you approve it, and you assign it, you know, for the person to fix, for the technician to fix the job. Only to discover after spending so much money and time that wasn't the actual problem. It means you are not paying attention to details. You are not following work procedure. You don't have a work method statement that helps you, you know, guides you in doing your work. When you get things right the first time, of course, like I said, you save money, you save time, and it improves customer satisfaction. If you are managing maybe an estate or an estate where you have to go to people's apartments to fix things, if they allow you come in the first time, which is always not comfortable for them, for occupants, they wouldn't want you to come again, to come and fix the same thing. You know, is irritating, especially if you have technicians that are not, they don't dress well, you know, just put on the coverall that they've used for 2 weeks without washing, and you enter into that person's apartment. He just wants you to finish up and leave. He doesn't want you to come back the second time. So when you get your work done the first time, it improves customer satisfaction. At least as per response to work, you'll be rated well. All right, get things right the first time. The principle is that you must have a passionate desire to learn and improve. Sometimes we come with that mentality that we know it all. We don't want to. In this business, as far as facilities management is concerned, for example, you read business administration, and now you are told to manage a facility. You come, you took FMMC, you got your diploma, you prepare yourself. You are going to manage people in different disciplines. You are going to manage technician, you are going to manage electrician, you are going to manage engineer, civil engineer, electrical engineer, all, these disciplines. It means that because you are not custodian of this knowledge, you have to learn. Sometimes you just need to be quiet and listen to them, because at the end, you are the one to take a decision. If you are not sure of what you were told, then you cannot take the right decision. So you must be passionate and have that desire to learn. Again, you can also depend on best known practices. Like I said, we have to go to Total to see the way they are doing their facilities management. We see their own facilities management processes and how they follow it and how they drive the process. We came back and we improved. We thought we were doing so well because it's Shell, right? We thought we were doing great. But somebody came and said, no, I've traveled all over the world, yet I'm not getting the kind of, I'm not seeing the kind of result. I'm not experiencing what I experienced out there. So we went there and we took some learning from them. We employ what we learned, and then we deploy it in our facility. Also, we need to follow process improvement outcome. Yes, we talked about improvement. Now, there's something in the process. In the process, we have what we call the input and the output. Then the process itself, we have what we call the control, and control will help you ensure that that process is working as planned. Now, if you improve your process, your inputs to a process, it means that you must definitely have an improved output. Your input will definitely influence the output. For example, if you want to fix your broken tap, right? If you try to ensure that one of your inputs there is to get a quality tap head from the best, you know that definitely your output will be influenced. But if you get a bad or a poor quality input or tap head, definitely the output will be influenced. So to get things right the first time, you must ensure that you put in an improve your inputs one way or the other. Try as much as possible, whatever you are using to deliver that job are the best. All right. Then painstaking preparation. It is very important to prepare very, very well so that you don't have time to exhaust what you've prepared. That is when you know that you have actually prepared. It's like when you are called to come and give a speech, a 30-minute speech. If you don't prepare well, in 5 minutes, you'll see that you've exhausted everything you want to say, and the next 25 minutes, you will just be blabbing and telling stories. So, but when you prepare very well, you prepare as if you want to go and speak for 2 hours, you see that within that 30 minutes, you are basically looking for time, and people will be ready to hear you because you have enough to give, right? The same way in FM, you need to prepare very well. You need to prepare your material, you need to prepare your resources, your technical people. You need to know that they are competent enough. If they are not, you have to train them to bring them up to speed to deliver quality. All right, standardized tax, standardizing tax, very important. You standardize your tax in such a way that even if you repeat that thing 100 times, you will get 100 quality outcome because you standardize the tax. All right, then increase frequency of feedback. You don't just do the work and go. That's why I said after service call is very, very important. You finish your work, you finish the AC, you finish going on well, and all that is very, very important. That way, it gives room for improvement. Remember, quality is all about continual improvement. My internet is giving me sign. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, measure and report performance. It's very important that we measure and report performance. Like I said in the beginning, quality is about measurement. Measurement. You have a certain measure of a particular thing. After some time, you want to check if it is still meeting criteria, if it is still meeting requirements. So you measure, you report. Very important. And then cost. I know the internet was giving me sign, now it has gone. Okay, let me project again. Let me share my screen. We are back. Okay. So quality metrics. Before we go into quality metrics, any question, any observation, any contribution before we proceed? Any question, any observation before we proceed? All right, Modupe.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask, if you don't mind, the some of the improvements you saw at that you imported to Shell when you went to the other side.
All right. Wow, that's a huge one. Okay. Actually, number one, they had one area that we picked up was that number one, they had what we call utility and then operations. For Shell, we group everything under operations, as in the water generation and distribution, the power generation and distribution, then the general FM work, as in the repairs and maintenance, were grouped under operations. But in total, they broke it down into two, right? They have the utilities and the what's it called? Other general facilities management. Then under utility, they have the water water generation and then distribution. They have power generation and distribution. So that way, it makes it easy for an FM. You know, this other place, you have an FM looking at all these service lines. You know, you have to run from water to electrical to then the general FM. But this other, in total, they have it in such a way that they have FM for the different service line, right? Fine, this is a very big establishment. You cannot run that kind of facilities management in a small establishment. Maybe you are managing, say, an hostel, or you are managing, say, a building. You can't do that. But when you are managing a very big estate and huge operations like that, where they have huge generators and all that, you need an FM that can just be, maybe you call him utility FM electrical. It will be in charge of FM power. It will be in charge of power generation and distribution. Then you can have FM water that will be in charge of water generation and distribution. Then you now have indoor FM. That this one will deal with all the indoor electrical work and indoor carpentry and every other thing under operations. Then you need to have like environment. You have somebody taking care of the environment. So there's that division of labor that makes it easy for someone that is going on inspection. You know where your focus is, right? And you can easily pick issues and deal with them. But in this other place, we are looking at a lot of things at a time. it's easy for things to, you begin to pursue the ones that are critical, because in that kind of environment, you know that power is very critical. So you wouldn't want to waste your time on carpentry and then plumbing or tiling thing. No, you want to focus on what is critical. Modupe, did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I saw another hand up. Let's continue. Factors influencing FM quality improvements. For example, now you have external factors, weather and climate. These are factors that you do not have control over. It will affect your work. For example, you want to do a concrete casting, at a site, and all of a sudden the weather changes, and it was about to rain. Of course, if you continue with that work, it will affect your delivery. You have to stop work and, quickly do an adjustment, implement your change management, and then reschedule that work. We have natural disaster, flood, earthquake, and all that, political, economic, and social stability. Political, very, very important. We remember what happened just 2023 when the new government came in, and of course a lot of things happened. Subsidy went, and the foreign exchange was affected too. So a lot of businesses were affected. Most businesses that depend on foreign exchange, that, like even in Max-Migold, we depend so much on software that we pay in dollars, right? At some point, we had to call our vendors and tell them, look, we cannot continue that way because we cannot begin to pay in dollars. If you can give us, the software in Naira, we are happy to deal, right? So these are things that can affect your deliverable. The age and gender demography. If you look at facilities management, going to the tactical level now, the technical team, you discover that the people you have as technician, the people you have as plumber, the people you have as AC tech, they are people that are, they are older generation, right? The new guys now, the Gen Z, nobody wants to go into learning these trades, and it's really affecting. And there's limit to which you push, these older people to do some work. They have their own time, So that's another factor that affects, the delivery. Then you also have age, gender, demography, yes, geographical location. Sometimes the location of your site can also affect urban versus rural considerations, distance to supplier. I remember one time I was managing a facility inside of Ikorodu, and sometimes if you just want to change, just maybe door lock, you have to move from Ijeda, inside of Ijeda, and you are coming down to Ikorodu garage. And sometimes you get to garage, you can't get the part, you will now be thinking of coming down to the island to get it. So before you do all that travel and everything, you are exceeding SLA. And before you know it, the client won't be happy and will be wondering, how come you cannot fix just door lock? It's taking you 2 days to change door lock. You see, that affects, service and quality. Then transportation infrastructure, the job demography. Let's quickly look at the internal factors. Internal factors can be building age and condition. We talked about building age and condition when we are doing facility management strategy. The age and condition of a facility determines the level of maintenance that goes into that facility. So when some buildings are very, very old, very, very old. Like I said, when you go to UK and other places, you see buildings that are like 100 years old, but they are still functioning. The facility systems are working perfectly as if they are new. But when you come to Nigeria, a building that is like 10 years, you are just struggling with the plumbing fixtures, you are struggling with the electrical fixtures. So when you are managing that kind of facility, you know that you have a lot of headache. You know, you can fix something today, and before you know it, another spot of that same thing you fixed will start giving problem. So that's one thing you consider. Then age and gender and pay scales of employee. You know, it is of recent that we started to like quotes for 130, 150 naira for a technician. You know, before now, I know facilities that I manage, they are paid 60,000, 50,000. And you wonder how that will, and these are people that, you know, sometimes they come 2 weeks in and 2 weeks out. And you just wonder how that money will take care of them. Those people won't give you the best, because while they are at work, they are thinking of how to make money. And of course, when they are called to do any PP, any outside job, they leave your facility and, you know, and go and help themselves. So the pay scale is an internal factor that should be looked into, and if it is addressed, it will really, really positively affect performance in terms of quality. Presence of unions, building design. I said something about the building that was handed over to us, and the white people went with the spares and everything. When we started maintaining that building, we discovered that for every defect we are dealing with, we are doing modification. We are implementing change management. We are doing modification, and that becomes a problem. It defaces the entire building. And of course, we didn't really get value from our client, from the user of the people that rented the place, right? So building design, sometimes architect will give you a wonderful, sweet, clean, you know, like Arabian design, you know, but don't go with that. We should be able to give you a design that at the end of the day, you are able to maintain. All right. Age, number, and working condition of FM equipment. The FM equipment, the tools, are they in good working condition? Employee work schedule, what's your work schedule like? Like I said, some technicians are staying at site, you know, 24 hours. And you see that kind of technician gets tired and may not be able to give you the best. All right, then we have evidence of work employee training. It is important that even you as a facilities manager, once in a while, go for a refresher training. Go and, you know, get new information. Things are happening. Facility management is gradually moving to, you know, this Internet of Things where, you know, we want to digitalize everything, right? Like the smart building and everything. You cannot get this knowledge by just sitting as a facilities manager. You need to go out. There are lots of air conditioners now with different mode of operation. You need to go out there, send your team for training. The ratio of supervisor to front line employees. All right, Oluwashola Adenka, your hand is up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So just to add to factors influencing FM quality improvement. So we should also consider the one of reward and punishment. So because it's also a factor that would influence a FM manager.
Yeah. That is very key. There's what we call consequence management. In the consequence management, there are two things, you know, the carrot and the rod, the carrot and the stick. If you do well as an employee, as an FM, you are rewarded. If you don't do well, yes, you will definitely get the consequence of not doing well. Now, in what we do is that as our team, our team members are working, they are supposed, for one measure we use anyway, is that we get commendation. At the end of the year, we want to see how many commendation you got as an FM from your clients. We want to see how many people sent you a mail or a text or something verifiable commendation that you did well. Oh, thank you for this work you did. Oh, it was a very good work. You know, we want to see that kind of commendation. Then at the end of the year, we want to look how many commendation you got from your customer, for your occupant. And with that, we can, you know, reward you, do a plaque, best FM, and with some cash, reward, right? And we also have a system that we give some level of discipline, to anybody that is not doing well. For example, if you are consistently not meeting SLA, because we have a tracking system for all the FM personnel in the field, where we track them. We track them based on their SLA. So at the end of the day, if our target to our clients is 90%, and you as an FM in that your small operations, you are getting 60% or 70% or 80% or below the expected satisfaction level or the expected SLE, then you'll be punished for that one way or the other. So that again motivates people. When you give reward, it motivates. But we've seen organizations that they are just silent about everything. They are silent about reward. But once there's an issue, you'll be punished for it. So the reward system is a very good one to motivate. And of course, apart from improving quality, it also boosts the morale of that individual to do, better work. All right. All right. So yes, so that's what we are talking about, quality improvement in the FM workforce. Number one is that treat your employee as they would want you to be treated. Sometimes you even treat them better than what they want, because that way you have a robust employee system with open communication as to what work and quality are expected of them. Sometimes you need to communicate the objective of the client to your employee, to your technician, sit them down during toolbox talk, tell them this is what we want to achieve, this is how we want to achieve it. In Shell, if you want to install, what's it called, a socket on the wall, for all the buildings in that camp, there is a level from the ground level to the wall, which is about 1 meter. That is from the tiled floor to 1 meter above the floor. That's where all the sockets must be installed. And every technician must understand that. Anything that is less than or higher than 1 meter from the floor is a non-conformance, and the clients will always will never be happy with that, always frowns at that. So you need to teach them, you need to tell them the standard that is expected of them, because they may not know. You can't carry the standard in your head. Of course, you cannot do the work. Then you need to let them know the standard that is expected of them. All right, then it ensures a way that they feel value. Okay, you ensure that they feel value, their opinion. Sometimes we have some technicians that can talk a lot. For those kind of people, you want to take time to listen to them and filter very well the important things from the distractions. Then you can now put them together and now tell them what to do. Okay, show them respect as individuals whom you can give praise and feedback to, just like what we say, the reward system, give them feedback as per their job. What are you trying to do here? Because in quality, there is what we call involvement of people. It is not only you as an individual, it is not the product. For you to achieve quality, to satisfy your customer, you must also involve people. People are going to do the work. So these people are the people you are going to show respect, get feedback from them, train them when necessary, train them where necessary, look at their welfare, ensure that they are paid well. All right, give them good tools to work with. All like we learned in maintenance inventory, always have time to inspect their toolbox and ensure that the right tools are in place. All right, when you do all that, you have a more engaged workforce. You can't come and see your team just sitting around. Remember that FM business is all about inspection. more of going to site, inspection, picking up snags, and dealing with them. So you need a workforce that are ready to be on the move all the time. Increase ideas for workplace improvement. So when you have that engaged workforce, you see that they always come up with ideas. I want to tell you that these technicians, they are good because, you know, they've been in the business. So, but when you have a good relationship with them, they will always tell you what to do. At least, if not for anything, they will always cover your back. Because if you don't have good relationship with them, I mean, one day maybe you just decide because of one thing or the other, you didn't get to site. They will leave that site for you. And there's going to be a huge escalation. So get feedback from them, you know, ensure that you manage them very well. Also, you have less absenteeism from work. You have few interpersonal conflicts in the workplace because you understand, they understand each other and they can come to you, you know, for superior advice. Then less staff turnover, less hiring and firing. When you take care of their welfare, then you have less staff turnover. And one thing about for an organization that has not implemented quality management system, you know, when you have turnovers, you know, people are just leaving the organization, it affects work production, it affects productivity. All right. So we try to avoid that by engaging them more. A happier workforce, less accidents. Remember, one other area of facilities management that is critical is that you reduce or eliminate anything that will bring accidents in your site or location. You know, you want to run a facility, you want to maintain a facility where people will come, do their work, and go back home with complete body parts. You know, you don't want a situation whereby people come and before you know, one finger is missing because the door trapped their finger, or one toe because the door or something, the tile on the floor, you know, destroyed their shoes or something. So you maintain your facility in such a way that people come, they work, they enjoy the place, and they go back home with their full body parts. All right. All right. So these are FM quality measurements. Like I said, quality in FM, quality generally is about measurements. You measure today, you want to measure tomorrow to see if you have that same value you have yesterday, and then you will improve on it. So we are going to take a 5 minutes break. And when we come back, we go through the FM quality measurements. Or we'll get back here in next 5 minutes, that is 6:10.
All right, no problem. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, we're back. So let's go on. FM quality measurements. So these are what we'll be looking at. What you should be looking at in determining quality. Number one, reduction in frequency of rework. For me, I would say elimination of rework. We don't give room for rework. Reduction in customers' complaints. Do you have a customer complaint register? How many are you recording on a weekly basis? You want to look at what you have in last year compared to what you have this year. So ensure that there's a reduction of the times a customer will call to make a complaint about your service. Then increase commendations. Of course, we want to see how many times that you are commended for what you are doing. Improvement in process efficiency. Number of initiatives introduced. This is very, very important. In fact, some organizations have this as part of their KPIs in the contracts. Maybe they are going to, during a business review session, they will ask you what are the initiatives you brought. Remember that as a facilities manager, you are supposed to show initiatives, show you how you have reduced costs in your operations. Reduction in mean time between failures, increase customer satisfaction index, employee job satisfaction level, building users' productivity. Those using your building, what is their productivity level? Are they getting optimum use in the building? Are they, happy using your building? So these are the things we measure in FM. So we want to look at, these are other area for quality improvement measure. This one basically for property management, cost per square foot, cost per labor hour, number of kilowatt hours used per building, per time of day. You want to look at your consumption rates. Are you maintaining certain level of consumption? Are your equipment very efficient in such a way that they don't impact on power consumption? So that those are the things you also look at. Okay. Quality indicator. We want to talk a little about SLA. And this is one thing that you always deal with as a facilities manager. Now, at this point, can anybody tell me, what you understand by SLA? Anybody? SLA, service level agreements. All right, Oluwashola, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. So what I understand by SLA agreement, so it's just a procedure that is an arrangement between a requester and a business. So in this aspect that maybe I'm about to give out a contract to a company, so we must sign an SLA that is to know when they will start and to know when they will finish. Also, it would also call out some certain things like, okay, in the next 6 months, 3 months, this building will still be on retention and the like. So that's what I understand by SLA.
Okay, that's still SLA when you talk of property management, contracting. Any other contribution?
Hello, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, SLA means an agreement between a service provider and a client on the things he's going to be doing within that facility, the number of staff, the number of equipment, the number of the daily or the type of service is going to provide from point A to point B within a specific period of time.
All right. That's very correct. So you see, SLA goes beyond just the contract commencement and contract execution, then closure. It goes beyond that. It also looked at, specific things you need to be doing. It also looks at, the people you want to deploy and all that. So that's what we are going to look at. It says service SLA agreement is a physical document that is a legally binding service agreement between the FM department and the demand organization or the user of service, consisting of such businesses topic as safety, quality, staffing, work approach, work plan, and all that. So everything is in it. Sometimes it's a standalone document. Sometimes it's part of the contract, but it is always something that both the clients and the demand organization and the FM organization must agree to and sign off, right? So there are three basic type of SLAs. We have the prescriptive SLA, we have the performance-based SLA, and we have the output-based SLA. Now, when you are signing a contract, it is important for you to understand what kind of SLA, what type of SLA you are about, signing for. Prescriptive SLA is very different. Here, the client is not interested in the outcome. The client is not interested in the building you want to de-roof or you want to roof. Is not interested. What it is interested in is the procedure, the processes that you need to follow, the things that you need to put in place. For example, it will tell you for you to, fix this building, you need to have an HSE person that will monitor HSE processes. And you have many processes. HSE, maybe you need to do a permit to work, you need to sign a PTW before you can carry out any work. If it involves any work that is in a closed environment, in a confined space, the kind of permits that you need to sign, you need permit that are to be given to you before you commence that work. So it's looking at, the procedures, the processes, not necessarily the outcome. Because in this kind of SLA, it is believed that if you follow procedure, if you follow the different processes, you will definitely get the right outcome. Now you have the performance-based SLA. Performance-based SLA is based on requirements. Now, the customer can tell you, these are my requirements. I need to see all these requirements for me to believe that you've done. If you provide all these requirements, it shows that you have done the work. For example, you have a facility and the client is telling you that, look, you need to put 5 cleaners in this facility, 1 FM, 2 assistant FM, 2 gardener. There are requirements. And these are the things that you need to put in place for you to carry out this work. So those are the things that are going to be in that SLA. Then we have the output-based SLA. In this kind of SLA, the client is not interested in whatever you want to, the process, the procedure, the style, the work method statements you want to follow, the toolbox stocks that you must do, the HSC and everything. He's not interested in all that. He's not interested in the requirements. If you want to use just one technician to do the work, it's not his business. His business is that at the end of the day, I want to get a functional facility. At the end of the day, I want to see my generator working. At the end of the day, I want to see power supply. So these are different SLA with their own downsides. So when you are signing that contract, it must be very clear. When you are doing any work with any of the IOCs, the oil companies, what they do is prescriptive SLA, because they know that people can cut corners to do their work. So they tell you the process and procedure that you need to follow to do their work. If you cannot follow the process, if you cannot follow the procedure, then forget about the work. And sometimes it appears that this procedure thing turns out to be the best kind of SLA. Because if you follow process and follow procedure, definitely the outcome must always be good. And it gives room for improvement. When you follow the process and procedure and you discover that the outcome is not the kind of outcome you expect, then you now begin to improve, right? But the requirement and the output base, don't look at all that. Output base is just, if you want to use 100 people to deliver the job, use the 100 people to deliver the job. One thing I just know, I'm going to pay you for the outcome of, what you are, the service you are providing. But for prescriptive, they pay for everything, that needs to be brought into that contract. So I believe that that's very clear enough. Now let's quickly look at benchmarking. We talked about benchmarking when I gave that scenario of Shell and Total. It's important for us to go out, get data, from other facilities managers around us, walk out of your estate, go to that estate in Banana Island, get the FM there, talk to the FM, see how they do things, and bring that into your own system. Also, you can get benchmarking from organization, for example, IFMA, and of course the AFMP, our association. We have a WhatsApp chat where we can chat. You have a problem. I saw one that somebody had a question, a problem that he was facing inside. You just put it on that chat, and people picked it up and they provide solutions, for the FM. All right, Clement, your hand is up. Go ahead, Clement. Oluwashola, your hand is still up. But go ahead, Clement. Clement, can you hear me? All right.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You didn't make any explanation of service specification.
Service specification. Was that on my slide?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't.
Yes.
Okay. Service specification. No, service specification is still the SLA, right?
Okay.
It's still the SLA. Now you have services. For example, you have line items like electrical maintenance, that's a service, plumbing maintenance, that's a service, maybe fumigation and all that. You have line items on all the description of service. So the acceptance level for that service is what we call the SLA. Whatever service you are providing, the acceptance level of that service. Sometimes they will tell you for a plumbing work now, for a plumbing work, any plumbing work at all, burst pipe or anything, you are expected, the SLA for that is, say, 6 hours. So it means that within 6 hours, you must, fix that plumbing issue. So there's a system that is used in monitoring FM. When you use the CMMS or the CAFM solution, it will first identify when you picked up that issue and when you fix it, and it will time you. And if you do it within 6 hours, you are within SLA, which is good. But when you do it outside 6 hours, you have exceeded SLA, it's counting against you. So for every service specification, there are acceptance level of the customer requirements for delivering that job. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So these are ways of getting our benchmarking, external benchmarking. You can get it for proven FM industry, FM industrial events. You can get from social media. We see a lot of things on the internet. You can browse, oh, how is this thing done? Then you now get a lot of options though you can also get a lot of crafts in the internet, but then you filter and see the ones you can use. You can also get from other organizations that like the BOMA, the IFMA, and other organizations. You know, you get benchmark and you bring it to what you're doing. All right. All right, the 4-point training method for FM personnel. You know, we talked about, that quality can also be influenced by your personnel, their ability, their skill sets, their competence. So it is your duty as an FM to ensure that you train those that are, under you. Like I said, you cannot be custodian of the entire knowledge area in FM. Your work is to coordinate the technician, the electrical engineer, the civil engineer, the mechanical engineer. You coordinate them to deliver for you. So to do this, you also need to train those that are under you, show them how to do the work, and also follow up to ensure that they do the work, get feedback from them. And if they are deviating from what they are doing, you do what? You retrain, and you also put them through the Deming cycle. The Deming cycle is plan, do, check, and act. We talked about it in our previous classes. So you plan, you talk to them, you know their gaps in what they are doing. If a technician needs some level of training, especially with the new kind of equipment that are coming in, they may not be able to operate or repair or fix even simple issues on that equipment. So you need to train them. After training them, you allow them to implement by doing what they've been trained for. And if while they are doing that, you are monitoring them. And if there is any part they are not doing well, you check and you try to correct. So it's a cycle, and this helps to train the personnel that you are working with. We quickly look at some quality statistical tools. Any feedback at this point? Quality statistical tools. Now, like I said, quality is all about measurement. You must find a way of measuring your performance. So there are tools that can be used in measuring quality. For example, we have 7 quality control tools: the Pareto charts, the check sheets, the scatter diagram, the control chart, the histogram, the flow chart, the cause and effect diagram. These are quality control tools, which you may not know this in detail, but there are the simple ones that you can easily apply in your FM operation. For example, the root cause analysis. It's always important that it is not just enough for you to, fix issues, which is expected of you all the time, but it's important to go a step further by carrying out root cause analysis. Root cause analysis help you to identify the cause of not just the problem, but the cause of the problem. Because when you identify what the problem is, then you can eliminate that cause. That way, you eliminate that problem. That problem may not repeat itself. So there's difference between the correction we do, which is like our routine work, and the corrective actions that we implement. Corrective action is to ensure that the root cause, you deal with the root cause with the corrective actions. For example, you have one technician that is not performing well. You give him many tasks, he's always stories, he's not doing the work very well. And you do your investigation, you ask the 5 whys, you ask questions, and you realize that he's not always happy. He's always coming to work, without money. He doesn't have money for food and all that. And you now check, the salary is being paid is not enough. He has debt to pay. So it is just beyond going to fix that tap and fixing it wrongly. It's coming with some other baggage. It's all coming with some other problems that you need to, look into. So that's what root cause analysis, will cause. Sometimes you are always not meeting timeline. Why are you not meeting timeline? Because you are not always getting fund on time. Why not getting fund on time? Because management refused to approve fund on time. Why is management not approving fund on time? Because there is no fund. So you drill down that problem to, the root cause by using the 5 whys. By the time you ask why 5 times, it's believed that in quality improvement tools that you must have gotten to the root of the problem. Again, you use the plan, do, check, act cycle. You plan, you do, you check, you act. Remember, plan is planning the work, put a lot of preparation, put the resources in place, the fund in place, the subject matter expert in place. After planning, you now execute, which is the do. Then when you execute, you check, that is monitoring. Check if your plan is consistent with the kind of result that you want. And if it is not, you act, as in you bring in a change management or a corrective action to deal with that issue. Then there's what we call the Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a quality course in quality management. Is a huge course. We have the black belt, we have the yellow belt. So it's something that if you have your time, you can go and learn that if you want to go into quality. And it is involved define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define what the problem is or what the issue is, what your target is, then you measure, you analyze, you improve, and then you control. All right, those are quality improvement tools. So for example, the histogram, this is a chart that can help you see at a go how you are performing. For example, you want to check how your plumbing line of service line is performing compared to your electrical, compared to your cleaning, compared to your civil. You can put that on histogram where you can see, you can just show this to management. Oh, that plumbing, we are doing like 50%, electrical, we are doing like 70%. So this is a tool to trend your service line and to identify where you are spending more money or where you are getting issues frequently. For example, a typical operation in a typical facility management operation, we know that plumbing is one area that we generate more requests. So with this kind of tool, you'll be able to see, clearly where you are getting more job frequently. All right, we have what we call the check sheet. Is a sheet that shows frequency of failure. For example, you go with this check sheet for inspection. You'll be able to see, you go to a location and you'll be able to see that every day you go to that location, a particular asset is always faulty. With your check sheet, you'll be able to see the frequency of that faulty asset. We've talked about the root cause analysis, just to drill down a cause, what the root cause is, not just putting a correction. For example, on this chart, you have road accident up there. The issue is road accident. But when you drill down that road accident, ask many questions, you'll see that it's not just that the driver, the passenger just walked into the road and was hit by the vehicle. It's either the driver was rough, he doesn't follow road signs and all that. Or it can be that the passenger, the passerby was not thinking before entering the road. Maybe he's just thinking about a problem at home, maybe had a fight with a wife and something. So you drill down a problem to know the root cause before introducing a solution. All right, then we have the flow chart. A flow chart helps you to show the workflow from the start to the end. In fact, flow chart is very important, where you can easily show at what point you get approvals, to carry out a job. It also shows you how you can carry out a job from start to finish. All right, we also have the Pareto chart. This is a chart that shows you that for every 80% of issues that happen, These 80% are caused by, 20% of the issue. That 80% consequence comes from 80% consequence comes from 20% of causes in many cases. So when you see that you have so much issue in your location, your facility, it will drill down to the 20%. You see that cost is from 20% of the things that are happening in your facility. Then we have the cause and effect diagram, the Ishikawa fishbone diagram, that shows that a particular effect, for example, from this slide, you see low website traffic. Low website traffic can be caused by a lot of things. So what is saying that a particular effect, a particular thing in your system can be caused by different things. It can be caused by, you can have failure, service failure due to one, can be that the technician, they are not competent. It can be that you don't have funds to execute job. It can be that you are not familiar with the new technology. It can be that you don't have a storekeeper, to get your critical spares. It can be that suppliers are very far from you. So for every issue, there are other things that constitute that issue. Then we have the scatter diagram, we have the control charts. All right, and those are the quality improvement tools. But like I said, these are things that you take out time to go into them in detail so that you'll be able to trend your work. But the one that is very, very important for FM is the histogram, where you can trend the performance of your different services. And then you can now say, okay, this particular service line is performing better than this other service line. Then we need to devote money or fund to this service line. All right. Before we go into KPIs, do we have any question, any contribution? Any question, any contribution? Okay. So we look at KPIs. So this is one thing that you must always come into your contract document. Number one, profitability, operating expenditure. You must always want to show your CapEx and your OpEx and how they are performing. If you have a particular budget, say 20 million to deal with all operations issue, electrical, plumbing, and everything, you must be able to distribute this 20 million to the different service lines, so that at the end of the month, you should be able to calculate, okay, what's our operation expenditure, how much, what's the percentage we have used so far. And that, again, is one way of also measuring you. They want to see that at the end of the year, what did we spend last year compared to what we are spending this year? So it's a KPI. In it, you'll be told, oh, you must not exceed this amount for all plumbing works. You must not exceed this amount for all electrical work. At the end of the day, you want to be measured based on this. Customer satisfaction is another KPI. Most organizations, they want their customer satisfaction level to be around 80% or above. At the end of the year, you want to carry out a survey, customer satisfaction survey, to see customer perception of your service, because they are going to measure you based on service excellence. They are going to measure you based on operational excellence. They are also going to measure you on how you manage your team, how you manage community, if it's a community contract, if it's a community contract, and all that. So those are, SLAs that will be looked into. Then customer retention. Your organization will want to measure you as an FM if you have retained the customer, right? It is a very difficult thing in the FM world to acquire a customer. For you to get an FM service contract is not a joke. There are some customers you will pursue for 2 years, 3 years, you will follow them up. If you can get that kind of customer as an FM, you must do everything in your power to retain that customer, at least within the contract year, because of some contract will tell you 2 + 1, that is 2 years plus 1. Ensure that that customer is retained, because it's difficult to acquire one FM customer, one demand organization. All right, sustainability, performance, employee recruitment. My slide is going ahead of me. Employee recruitment, employee absenteeism, turnover, and workplace productivity. These are KPI that you must ensure you meet, that will determine whether you are providing good quality service. All right, this is Toyota 14 quality management principle. It's just something we just need to know. Remember that when Toyota had the problem of their brake pad, they had to withdraw thousands of their products from the market, because people were dying because of accidents and everything. The brake was failing. So when they came back, they sat down and said, okay, fine, let us see what we can do. Let us develop a quality principle to guide our business. And because of that, I think right now they are one of the best automobile manufacturing company. So they looked at a lot of things. They number one, they said that they based their philosophy on long term. They are not looking at that quick, let's just quickly do things in short term and meet our financial goals. No, they invest in their business, bring in technology, and look at their return on investment on a long-term basis. Now they create a continuous process flow to bring problems to surface, as in they have clear processes, their outputs, their inputs, the process and the output. It must be clear so that they bring problems to the surface. Because they have brought their entire system into processes. That way they are able to see problems quickly, right? They ensure that they work with customer requirements. They ensure that they deliver to meet customer requirements. They also ensure that they reduce workload for their workers and other things. When you go through the 14, quality improvement principle, you see what they put in place, and that has really, 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 really helped the process. They become a learning organization. So they ensure that they are learning everywhere, learning from incidents, learning from all their documentation, all their records. They ensure that they are learning every day. And like I said, for you to get things right the first time, you must be that kind of individual on FM that is ready to learn and continually improve in what you are doing. So in summary, quality service in FM industry may include a visually clean and well-maintained buildings, work processes that are in alignment with strategic directions, and deliver consistent and effective operational outcome. So first, your facility must be visually clean, aesthetically appealing. You want to walk into your facility, or people want to come into your facility and they see that it is inviting. It gives you some level of rest. The air quality is top-notch. The environment quality is top-notch, right? And it must align with, the strategic direction of the organization. And of course, you must ensure that it delivers consistent and effective operational outcome. Service level agreement is determined by customers. Now, we must know that service level agreement is determined by customers, but where a customer cannot, determine this service level agreement, then you as an FM or the FM organization can now advise, on how the SLA is going to look like. Because sometimes they may not even know there's a contract we picked up and they gave us outrageous SLAs. For example, they said, okay, if there's power cuts for every 5 minutes, I think 5 minutes or 1 minute, something like that, for every 5 minutes that there's a delay in restoring of power, we'll be paying 10,000 naira. We said, what kind of SLA is that? And, sometimes, it may be out of our control. It is something that we need to get approval from their management and all that. It might take longer than necessary. Then are we going to be paying that kind of, fine for not restoring power? We have to send the contract back to them and tell them, no, we need to review this SLA. So customers can give you SLA, but you need to look at it, review it, advise them, because sometimes they don't know what they are writing. You are the subject matter expert, you are the FM, therefore you'll be able to give them advice on the SLA. Don't just take anyhow SLA. For example, somebody is telling you emergency work should be closed in 1 hour. If that emergency work involves maybe breaking of the wall, identify what the issue is, then trying to go and get material and all that, you can't deliver that SLA. So it's very, very important. Quality tools, quality control tools include the Pareto chart, which we looked at, the scatter diagram, the control chart, the histogram, which is very, very important in trending our performance, the check sheet, the flow chart, which is also very important in seeing how we work from beginning to the end, from the start to the end, and all the approvals in between. All right. So that's all for us today. Any questions so that we can close this class? Any question?
Okay, yes, my hand is up. I don't know.
Your hand is up. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, so thank you, sir. So, but on the summary part, when you said that SLA is determined by customer, so I think with that, it should not be done that way, because if we assume that SLA should be determined by a customer, so what happens in aspect of emergency, which you explained earlier? So because let's assume we have SLA of maybe any plumbing work, which will be resolved in less than 6 hours or so, and there is emergency that one won't be able to resolve in the next 6 hours. So with that, one won't be able to meet up with the SLA. So I think with that, we should have a standard procedure, should in case of emergency, then which can be extended to in the next 12 or 18 hours. So
yeah, I agree with you. Number one, first, just know it that once you are signing that contract, some organizations, they are so good that if you've seen a typical ITT, invitation to tender or RFQ, you see the requirement of those documents. You know that there are some organizations, they will take time to break everything down for you. You see clearly your deliverables, your timeline, the milestone and everything, right? So they determine the SLA. So it's for you, because even when you attend, they will tell you, go through this thing, go through the entire document, and whatever is not clear, you bring, they are ready to hear you and everything. But sometimes we don't look at that because we want to quickly put our commercial and everything and get the contract and just get on. So you need to go through the SLA and look at whatever you are not comfortable with based on your experience and based on best practice. You can call them out and they will correct it. Now, if for any reason you enter into such contract and you start operations and there is an issue like that, then you need to call for a review of such SLA. But I want to tell you that you must have been doing the work for a while and, going through the stress and not meeting SLA and all that. But you can call for a review. I remember when we shared and we discovered that some SLAs were not favorable. We were providing integrated facilities management system. It was an integrated facilities management. So integrated in that we were not the owner of the staff, as in the technicians, the engineers and all that. We are only coordinating. The communities were the one providing the work, as in the even to supply level, the community provide and everything. If there's any issue, you give it to a community contractor to go and execute. So that way we had so much, a lot of problem, because you cannot force community to do some work. In fact, they decide the kind of work they want to do because they have so much power. They can stop work. They can do. So at some point we told them, no, look, you are giving us this kind of SLA, but we don't have full control over the people we are supervising, because if they say they are not doing a particular work, there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do, because they can close the gate, they can do whatever they want to do. So community management was another SLA on its own. So what did we do? We now said, okay, fine, so that we can reduce escalation, we came up with what we call term of reference, where if there's any escalation, we pass it through that term of reference. The term of reference helps you to define what escalation is. When you pass it through that term of reference, that process, it helps us to know what escalation is. If escalation is because a community contractor decide not to do a job, we put it aside. It's not escalation. You understand? If escalation is that a contract holder, a manager refused to sign or to approve fund, we put it aside. Escalation should be based on your time, the time given to you to finish a job. If an FM decide to sit on a job and wait until XLA is exceeded before executing that job, then that is escalation. So if you have that kind of process in place, you'll be able to define what escalation is and what escalation is not. All right, I see a lot of hands up. Who's gonna go now? Adeola, have you spoken?
No, sir, not.
Oh yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I hope
good evening,
I've explained that, okay?
Oh, yes, please.
All right.
Okay, sir, still on the SLA. Like the way I operate as a facility manager, but as a contract. So
Okay.
I want to ask, some situation, they will tell you, this is what you are going to do. Along the line, you will miss some other things which are not included in the terms. Maybe it can be while we are doing the job, some other issues just come up.
Okay.
Now I want to ask, on that SLA, do I need like a service of a lawyer, like to intercede for me before I take the job? Or so that, what I discover is that most of them, they'll just tell you, oh, no, it's none of my business, so we've signed the SLA. Like, for instance, you are trying to locate let me say, leakage. So while trying to locate it, you discover that, oh, a WC is broken. I can't fix it back for it not to affect my name. I just want to know, do I like a service of a lawyer? But if I tell them, they'll tell you, do everything, make it perfect. Yeah, if I want to come with supplementary budget, like, oh, this is what I've spent, then they will tell me, no, we don't have such money, we don't even plan for it. We have an agreement, we have an agreement.
Okay.
I want to know, in some situation, do I need something of a lawyer, or how do I go about it, sir?
Okay.
Thank you.
So sir, please let me have a say before you come in, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Hadiola, well done. So I think in this aspect, because I've also experienced something similar before. So, but before we comment on anything, there's always a bill of quantity whereby we would list out what to be done on a project. So during that process, once we've commenced with the work and we notice that there is room for additional works, immediately we noticed, we'll just write it out and also let the supervisor, that is the site engineer from the company, to be aware that, okay, when we get to this stage, we notice that there's additional works for this, and for that. So before commencing on anything, we need to have an agreement so that one won't run lost while doing the business. That's okay, the additional works to be done, how do we intend doing it? Because it's not part of the bill of quantity. Then definitely, if they want the job to be done and perfect to be delivered within the agreed SLA. I'm so sure that they would also come and, okay, that let's add maybe little amounts to it. So that's just my own sense.
Yeah, I think yes, you are very right. This thing involves communication. Like I said the other time, as an FM, it is not always good for you to tell your technician, oh, go and scope the job and come back. He goes there and does whatever he wants, and then at the end of the day, you might find yourself in trouble. So that's one. Two, you need to really know the nature of the work. Yes, you have it in your bill of quantity. Okay, like if there's leakage, maybe a tap is leaking, water on the floor, something, but you realize that on getting to that point, you need to break the wall to do what? To identify the leakage, maybe in the wall or something. So that's additional work, because you are going to break the wall. You are not only going to fix the leaking pipe, but you are going to break the wall and again fix it at the end. So that's additional work. You need to put this down in your scope and show them that it's not just going to fix the pipe. It's involved breaking of the wall. We need the mason to come in and all that. So you now do a full scope of the work and give it to them for approval before you execute. That you must have that communication. And when they see it, I mean, it's clear. You are not manufacturing the extra work, right? It is something that is very clear. And of course, they will sign up to do it. Except it also depends on the kind of contract that you have with them. If it's a contract that is a total facilities management where you are giving everything, all that you needed, to do the work, don't come back to us for any unplanned maintenance. Then that's where you have the problem, because you have to foot that bill yourself. But if it is something that, apart from the fixed maintenance, the fixed cost, you have variable costs where you can always seek approval before carrying out the job, then you must do that. You must scope the work, capture everything that you need to do, and then go for approval. All right, I can see Omo Pariola. Hope I'm pronouncing it well. So go ahead. Before Kenny will take you last. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right.
My own is a little bit question concerning SLA.
Okay.
I don't know, with your experience, I don't know, maybe can I call them a client or customer? Have you seen where they allow FM to draw the agreement before?
Yes, definitely. Some will tell you, I've seen a proposal sent to us, request for proposal, they sent to us. They told us to, quote for the job, and then send them a plan, the FM plan, how we hope to execute the job, and the SLAs, for each of the line item we want to provide. Then let us show them how we want to execute it weekly, monthly, and all that. So they can tell you to, tell them. So from experience, in fact, that's where you have some level of control to write what you want to write, at least the best way you can handle that. So clients can do that, especially if they are not into FM, or if they have not been doing FM business before. All right. Kenny, can you go ahead?
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Just to ask, if begins before the SLA, the BOQ, can you include the like miscellaneous expenses in case, like a note that should in case such there's a more expense to be incurred, that the company will bear the cost of it, so that they will not be at loss. So that should in case they might meet any issue, so that they can go ahead for the payment of other things.
So when you are developing a proposal, what we do so that to give the client some level of comfort, people want to be comfortable when they want to spend their money. So what we tell them that we are going to put cost for all the fixed, the PPMs, the fixed costs like salaries, Then for all the PPM, generator maintenance, AC maintenance, fumigation, those ones we put cost for that, right? Then for the unplanned, as in for the things that we can't predict, we will give them a cost, but we'll tell them, look, this cost is not coming into our maintenance contract. You are going to keep this money, keep this budget, just budget this money and keep it with you, so that whenever we want to do any repairs, we scope it and we come to you for approval. Then you can now approve it and give us the money to, carry out the job. Or you can keep that money with us. You can keep the money with us, but we always come to you for approval. We scope the job, you approve it. If you are comfortable with the amount we are putting there, and we carry out the job. If at the end of the month, we come to do a reconciliation, right? We look at what we have spent from that fund that is with us, then you will now reimburse or tell us to continue if the fund is still there. So that way the client has that level of comfort that, okay, they are in control, they can take decision on those miscellaneous, all those things that we really cannot account for in the beginning of the contract. So that's one way to give them some level. In fact, we push that agenda because we want a situation whereby they are involved. But some clients are very smart. They can tell you, no, go and give us a cost for your miscellaneous and everything and your unplanned. So that once we pay you that money, we don't want to have anything to do with you. We just want to come and our facility is functioning top-notch. So that's just the two scenarios. So it depends on the client if he wants to hold the money and be given to you when you ask for it, to execute a job. All right, I think we should close this class today. I think we should close the class today. So thank you very much for being in the class. You can always reach Barakat if you have any question or anything that you want from us so that we can help you through. Go through the questions, the assessment questions, answer them, and also prepare for your exam. Thank you very much, and then good night. Have a good night rest. All right. Barakat, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Have a good night,
Right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for the enlightening
yeah.
session.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Good night,
Thank you
everyone.
very much,
Good
sir.
night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.